WION Wings.
The use of aircraft for attack and defense purposes was first widely seen during the World Wars. It was during these wars that Spitfires and Vipers became famous. And now we live in the times of supersonic fighter jets. In fact, Air Force is the first mode of attack in wars. If you love all things linked to aviation, you have tuned into the right show. Welcome to this action-packed episode of WION Wings.
This week on the show, we tell you all about the fighters, helicopters and transporters that took part in India's 69th Republic Day Parade. Is Dubai getting all set to introduce self-driven hover taxis? Has Emirates handed a lifeline to Airbus A380 Super Jumbo? And watch hundreds of hot air balloons glide over Swiss Alps.
Let's start with the latest happenings from the world of aviation. 50 stranded skiers were rescued from a broken chairlift in Austria. Meanwhile, Russia and US are at loggerheads once again after Russia intercepted a US spy plane. And you will be pleased to know that Indian telecom regulator TRAI is in favor of providing in-flight internet connectivity over Indian airspace.
The airplane mode on your smartphone may be redundant soon. Indian telecom regulator TRAI is in favor of providing in-flight internet connectivity over Indian airspace. The Indian telecom regulator is of the opinion that as long as the in-flight internet services are technically feasible and security concerns can be addressed, there should be no regulatory barrier in providing Wi-Fi and mobile services on board. However, an aircraft will have to fly 3,000 meters before the facility can be made available. As of now, a flight usually gets to the height within 4 to 5 minutes after takeoff. About 150 skiers were stuck on a broken chairlift on a mountain in central Austria for several hours on the 29th of January. They were eventually rescued by helicopters and mountain rescue teams. The lift that was supposed to bring the skiers down had stopped working because of technical problems. The authorities started evacuating the flyers from the stopped chairs, which were 23 to 33 feet above the ground. Videos uploaded by Austrian armed forces show the moment of helicopters lifting people from the chairs. All the flyers taken off the chairlift were shaken but unhurt. A Russian Su-27 fighter jet waylaid a US surveillance plane over the Black Sea on 29th of January. The US State Department protested against the move and termed the encounter an unsafe interaction. The Russian jet confronted a US EP-3 in international space, closing to within 5 feet and crossing directly in front of the EP-3's flight path. In a statement, the US called on Russia to cease the unsafe actions leading up to increased dangers of miscalculations and mid-air collisions. Russian jets and NATO aircraft have frequently come close together over the Black Sea, the Baltic region, Syria, and elsewhere. An agreement handed a lifeline to the slow-selling A380 Super Jumbo aircraft. Emirates has announced a deal for up to 36 Airbus A380 aircraft. The deal is worth $16 billion at list prices. Emirates is the only airline to have put the A380 at the heart of its operations and had been expected to place an order for more of the jets at the Dubai Air Show last November. However, it then ordered 40 Boeing liners instead. Airbus threatened to stop making the jet if it could not come to a deal with the Gulf carrier. Emirates said it had now made a firm order and deliveries are scheduled to begin in 2020. The move saved the world's biggest passenger jet from death row and secured its future.
India's Grand Republic Day parade culminated with several spectacular formations by the Indian Air Force. As usual, viewers were enthralled and left wanting for more. We bring you the highlights.
A grand display of Indian military hardware, marching bands and ornate floats highlighting India's cultural diversity. Republic Day marks the anniversary of India's democratic constitution taking force in 1950. But in this show of military power, the performance that Indian aircraft lovers wait for with bated breath is the grand finale. A spectacular flypast by attack helicopters and fighter jets of the Indian Air Force. Flypast started with a formation by 3 RUDRA helicopters, or the armed version of the Advanced Light Helicopter DHRUV. The indigenously developed RUDRA made its maiden appearance in the 69th Republic Day Parade. The HAL RUDRA, also known as ALHWSI, is an armed version of HAL DHRUV. The Indian Army Aviation Corps is already using RUDRA armed helicopters for operations, termed as the Weapon System Integrated Mk4 variant of the DHRUV Advanced Light Helicopter. RUDRA is the first real armed helicopter being produced indigenously in India. Developed and manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, RUDRA incorporates a conventional design with carbon fiber composite materials to achieve weight reduction. RUDRA is equipped with forward-looking infrared and thermal imaging sights interface, a 20mm turret gun, 70mm rocket pods, anti-tank guided missiles and air-to-air missiles. It is powered by 2 turboshafts, with each engine delivering a maximum continuous power of 1067 kW. The power plants give the helicopter a maximum continuous speed of 270 km per hour. RUDRA can fly at a maximum altitude of 6 km or 20,000 feet, which means it can successfully engage Kargil or Siachen type of targets in the Indian context, a capability sorely missed during the 1999 Kargil conflict. Republic Day Parade also witnessed a Hercules formation by 3 C-130J Super Hercules aircrafts. This is the aircraft which is regularly sent on missions in the harshest environments and often the first aircraft to touch down on tough landing strips. It's deployed to provide humanitarian relief after natural disasters. C-130J has already made a world record by touching down on one of the highest airstrips in the world in India's Ladakh region. The Lockheed Martin C-130J Super Hercules is a 4-engine turboprop military transport aircraft. The C-130J Super Hercules is the world's most advanced tactical airlifter. It also counts capabilities as diverse as special ops, aerial refueling, close air support, search and recovery. The C-130J Hercules can operate out of 2,000-foot-long dirt strips in high mountain ranges. It has the ability to transport more than 20 tons of cargo and supplies. The aircraft is operated by 68 countries worldwide. Then came the Globe formation, comprising 1 C-17 Globe Master, flanked by 2 Sukhoi 30 MKIs. 3 Sukhoi 30 MKI aircraft split upwards, making a Trishul in the sky, while another Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter plane performed a vertical Charlie maneuver over the saluting dais. The decision to arm the Indian Air Force with Sukhois was taken in the 90s to beef up India's air defense capabilities, keeping in mind the Chinese Air Force and Pakistan Air Force threats. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI is a multi-role combat fighter aircraft in service with the Indian Air Force. This is the same jet in which Indian Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman flew recently. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI is an advanced variant based on the Su-30 fighter aircraft. Development of the Su-30 MKI for the Indian Air Force began in 1995. The Su-30 MKI aircraft incorporates an aerodynamic airframe made of titanium and high-intensity aluminium alloys. The tandem glass cockpit of the Su-30 MKI accommodates 2 pilots. It is armed with a 30mm GSH-30-I cannon with 150 rounds of ammunition. The aircraft features 12 hardpoints capable of carrying external stores of up to 8T. The aircraft can launch a range of air-to-surface missiles. The Su-30 MKI fleet of the Indian Air Force will be fitted with air-launched version of BRAHMOS supersonic cruise missiles. The BRAHMOS can strike targets within the range of 290 kilometers. The aircraft has a maximum unrefueled flight range of 3,000 kilometers. The in-flight refueling system of the Su-30 MKI provides a maximum range of 8,000 kilometers with 2 refuelings. The Su-30 MKI is one of the most maneuverable fighter jets. The 3D thrust vectors and canards give it extra lift and make it more maneuverable. The first 10 Russian-made Su-30 MKI aircrafts were delivered to the Indian Air Force in the year 2002. The aircrafts were inducted into service in September 2002. The second batch of 12 aircrafts were handed over in 2003. This was followed by 5 Jaguars making another formation. Finally, the spectacular show came to a draw with 5 MiG-29 air superiority fighters flying in fulcrum style.
A futuristic mode of transport that is a cross between a driverless electric car and a vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Wondering what am I talking about? Stay tuned to find out.
WION Wings.
Welcome back. Now experts have been talking about sky taxis and flying cars becoming the future of aviation for quite some time now. But one of the world's most advanced cities, Dubai, has gone ahead and staged a test flight for what could be the first drone taxi service. Take a look at this ambitious plan by the Gulf city to solve the traffic woes.
Dubai is all set to make a giant leap in transportation of the future. The City of Gold is planning to launch hover taxi services in the future that will make flying possible from an individual's doorsteps. A successful concept flight has been made without passengers. According to Dubai's Road and Transport Authority or RTA, the hover taxi will eventually be integrated into the city's existing public transport network, which includes a metro system, tramway and buses. The prototype of this hover taxi is supplied by Germany-based Volocopter, and it can fly for 30 minutes at a maximum speed of 100 km per hour. The safety features for the 2-seater air taxi include emergency parachutes and 9 independent battery systems. Passengers will be able to book their autonomous air taxi and track its arrival and route using an app. These hover taxis will undergo 5 years of testing to put in place safety procedures and legislation governing the cutting-edge mode of transportation. But this Volocopter is not alone when it comes to the future of flying. Dubai has also tested a Chinese prototype of a self-driving hover taxi with the aim of introducing the aerial vehicle in the UAE in the next 1 to 2 years. This self-driving taxi can travel on a programmed course at 100 km an hour at an altitude of 300 meters. And like the earlier volocopter taxi, here also a passenger simply needs to select a destination for the autonomous taxi to take off, fly the route and touch down in the chosen spot monitored by a ground control center. The vehicle is made by Chinese drone manufacturer EHang and it can recharge in 2 hours and make trips of up to 30 minutes. The quadcopter flying taxi is powered by 8 propellers and it has highly accurate sensors that can resist extreme temperatures in the Emirates' scorching summers. Dubai is a leading tourist destination in the Gulf, attracting a record 14.9 million visitors last year. Dubai hopes the new future transport services will be able to attract more tourists at a time when it's facing competition from its neighbors Abu Dhabi and Doha.
This German carrier is spreading its wings in India. Lufthansa is a consortium of Swiss, Lufthansa and Brussels Airlines and has high ambitions for Indian and Asian markets. I caught up with Wolfgang Will, Director South Asia at Lufthansa Group. Thanks for talking to us, Will. First of all, we will start with the topic that's quite interesting, which is the TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, has given permission for internet and calls while flying. What are your views and how do you allow that to happen while people are flying? That's a very good move for passengers.
Great news indeed, and we are very happy about this news. Actually, Lufthansa was the first airline to launch Flynet connectivity on board on broadband, and as all the other airlines, for sure, we switch off deactivate the service over Indian airspace. Now we're looking forward to be able to activate it under the conditions which will be set up, and we think that's a really good positive step towards more passenger comfort and make the journey on board even better.
And Will, just for the benefit of our passengers, how does it happen? What technologies, if you know, are used while to allow people using surf?
Yes, well, our broadband connection is via satellites, and really it's outstanding because we can really offer our passengers not only to access internet and they can download things and they can chat, they can really make use of all the broad facilities which you have once you access the internet. And that's through a hotspot. We are there really pioneers and very, very proud to have this technology already since some time on board and on each and every long-haul aircraft of Lufthansa, and now we are also equipping the short-haul fleet with internet on boards.
And coming to India plans, what are the big plans for India? How excited are you about the Indian market?
Well, actually, you know, it's for us, more over 50 years being in India, we have learned about the needs and expectations of our Indian customers. And where does the growth come from in modern aviation? It's not that much from the saturated markets in Europe or in America. It's in places like India. So our additional passengers, which we get by adding capacity, they are coming from India. So it's very natural that we actually focus on the needs and expectations of these customer segments. So for us it was very important to show here in India that actually we are taking care of the needs, and that means we have Indian flight attendants on board. For sure, our Indian cuisine, both vegetarian and non-vegetarian, is outstanding. We have Bollywood on board. We have a vast selection of Indian movies, but also music on board. So this is all in order to really, focusing on our customers and giving them really a better experience on board.
So you also were the first airline to introduce 350-900 in India. How has been the overall experience so far?
Well, that was really great. Last February 2017, 17, New Delhi was the first worldwide destination for Lufthansa's A350-900. And we are very proud to operate with this aircraft because not only that by that we have additional capacity, much more seats than the A330, which we were operating before, it also has much more comfort for our passengers. Not to forget that also us as an airline, we have huge advantages because this aircraft, this new generation of aircraft, there is 25% less of fuel consumption, there is 25% less emission of carbon dioxide, and it's 50% less noise. So even inside you feel that it's much a quieter aircraft. It has a much better humidity so that you don't feel so tired when you're traveling on this aircraft. It's really a new dimension, let's say, of traveling by air. And we are very happy that we have those flights going to India with this brand new and best aircraft which we have in our fleet.
Well, thank you, Will, for sharing your thoughts with us and giving us this time. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all we have in this episode of Wings, but we leave you with these stunning visuals of a hot air balloon festival that is underway in a ski resort in Switzerland. Goodbye and fly safe.
A blue sky bedecked with balloons of various hues and styles. The 40th International Hot Air Balloon Festival got underway in the ski resort of the Chateau d'Y in western Switzerland. The vibrant festival saw tourists from around the world throng to the Swiss ski resort. The festival is held around this time each year as Chateau d'Y has a winter microclimate particularly suited to flying hot air balloons. What started off back in 1979 has now become a much larger platform. Unfortunately, weather conditions on the opening day were less than optimal, with fog in the morning and unsafe ground conditions for tethered rides.
C'est complémentaire, hein. Le festival permet à la région de vivre pendant une période creuse aussi, lors du tourisme hivernal. Et c'est vrai que c'est une manifestation populaire, donc on a des gens qui viennent, qui sont venus ici lorsqu'ils étaient enfants et qui reviennent aujourd'hui alors qu'ils sont parents avec leurs propres enfants. Donc pour nous, c'est aussi extrêmement appréciable d'avoir ce nouveau cycle qui se remet en place.
The festival reserves one day exclusively for children. On this day, confined balloon fights and grand balloon release bring tremendous amusement to the little ones. The municipality of Chateau d'Y has a strong historical link to hot air balloons, as it was from this place that Bertrand Piccard and Brian Jones took off in a hot air balloon for the first world tour.
Ah oui, par rapport à les ballons, c'est une chose que tout le monde l'imagine, oui, que c'est comme ça, c'est Divan qui nous ramène où est-ce qu'il veut, mais nous, on se débrouille pour choisir la couche que ça nous intéresse pour finir dans l'endroit que nous, on veut atterrir. Ça, c'est la chose qui nous plaît plus, et après, l'autre chose, c'est qu'en vol, c'est le silence, la liberté, c'est ça.
The 9-day event sees participation of pilots from about 20 countries. The Swiss Alps witness hundreds of hot air balloons ascending through the skies. Special activities typically include tethered rides and a nighttime show on Friday. The multi-hued festival that kicked off on January 27th will go on to the 4th of February. WION Wings,